good evening. Henry Gajon here from New York City. Thank you for joining me this evening. And I have a very good special guest tonight. I have Edwin Duterte, who is running for 43rd District Congressional District out there in California. And I'm waiting for him. We're trying to bring him on. You guys know many times when I do a live, it's crossing my fingers because Facebook usually wants to do a number, and I could bring him up via phone like I've done with other folks if we're having trouble, but we don't want to do that, okay? So I do see him right now. I'm going to attempt to see if I could bring him on, and because there's a lots to talk about tonight, and thank you so much for joining me, and we're waiting for Edwin Duterte to come up, and it's going to be exciting to speak with him. His plans as he's running on the 43rd Congressional District out there in California. This is Henry Gajon live here, and I'm here just waiting. He's having trouble, guys, like you see. How you doing, Edwin? I know you're there. You're having trouble. We'll see what we can do. Okay. So I'm trying to invite him again, so bear with me. Be patient. Thank you for joining me, Henry Gajon live here on a Wednesday evening in New York City. A cool summer. Last few days have been cold. I had to get out a blanket.
All right,
Edwin,
I think I'm here.
my friend? All right.
I am good. Sorry it took me so long. I'm not used to this technology, but thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's see if maybe we can lower your volume a little bit. We got a little bit of an echo. We'll work this out. We'll see how we can get it.
Okay.
But I'm so happy to have you, man, because I thought I wasn't going to get you. The system was telling me it couldn't bring you up. So, Edwin Duterte, am I saying the name right? Duterte. Am I saying it right?
Duterte. It's Duterte, like Duterte. Duterte, but without the H. Duterte.
Okay, Duterte. Okay, thank you so much.
Right.
My last name is Gajon, and you can imagine everybody has trouble with my last name. But thank you. Welcome tonight. You have a lot of folks that are going to be logging on. I already have a lot of people logging on already. You want to say hi to everybody and say your name, what are you running on the 43rd Congressional District in California? Yes, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank you for being on your show, and congratulations on the show. I'm sure your show's gonna be a huge success. That already has momentum, and I'm already hearing about your show in California. So much success to you.
Thank you.
My name is Edwin Duterte, and I am running for U.S. Congress in the California 43rd against Maxine Waters. And I believe I have the best chance to make it. I know my issues. I know what can be fixed and what can be improved to make California great again.
Excellent, excellent. You're from San Jose, California, but you currently live in Redondo Beach, California. Am I saying that right? Redondo Beach. I grew up in the Bay Area. I was born and raised in the Bay Area. I was born in San Francisco, raised in San Jose, and went to college at Cal State Hayward. Moved down here in 1997 in Southern California, and I love it. Love the weather, love the people. Everybody's great. The technology sector around here is awesome. The housing is great. It's a little expensive. But it's just a great place to live. Great place to live. Excellent.
Great people.
Excellent.
Great food.
Your background, you're Filipino American. I've met some great Filipino people in my life. I've had some good friends. Your people is beautiful. Tell us a little bit about your background, your family. Your parents immigrated here. Tell us about that. How was that experience for your family?
Yeah, well, I come from a family of immigrants. My parents, they were born in the Philippines, and one thing that's really special about my family is, as well as Filipinos in general, we're very caring people, and we know what our responsibilities are and what we need to do. My parents, when they got married in 1968, my grandmother had cancer, and she was pretty much on her deathbed, and my father got this special visa to come to America. As long as you're a professional back in 1967, 1968, and you had great credentials, you had a solid education, and you could prove to the American government that you have a place to stay, you have a means to make a living. you were afforded a professional visa to work. So my father, left my grandmother, and I never met my grandmother. She died 2 days after my father left the Philippines, or left the town. They were on their way to the airport. They called in. My father and my uncle called into my parents or my grandparents and found out that my grandma passed away. But they knew that they had to care for a family and they had to move on. So my father moved to America, and he had $61 in his pocket when he landed in America. He actually had $111 leaving the Philippines, but he went to Hong Kong, bought a suit because he knew he had to find a job. So he made it into America with $61 and stayed at a relative's house for several weeks. He found a job within 2 weeks, and within a month or two was able to afford his own home or own apartment. Shortly thereafter, he brought my mother to America. They had my sister. A year later, they had me. So my whole family, knew what it meant to be an immigrant and be successful. They came to America. They did not rely on the federal government, on the United States federal government. They relied on family. Family got them through. My father made a good living. He found a good house, and several years later, he owned his own business. He owned his own real estate company, owned his mortgage company. I helped him with his mortgage company. I set up a mortgage banking division for his company, and we went from $40 million in sales to $80 million in sales the year I started helping his company. So the fact was, he worked hard. He impressed on me that I need to work hard. I needed to go to school. I needed to work hard, and I needed to find a great job. So my parents, were a big influence. And something I think is really really interesting is in 1975, when my father and mother got had their citizenship, they petitioned my sister's brother and sister and their family, and my other father's brothers and sisters. So they petitioned about 25 of our family members from the Philippines into the United States in 1975. They did not get into America until 1987 because of the various hoops and stuff that you have to go through the immigration process. You have to show that that you have somebody to sponsor you into America. You have to show that you can make a living in America. And so it was very merit based. And my parents did the right thing. They waited until they can get everybody into the States. And when they came, my family did the right thing. We had about 25 people in our house living with us until they got on their feet. And they didn't get on their feet until 2 or 3 years later. But the fact is, they got on their feet. They got jobs. They got some of their jobs were remedial jobs, like working at hotels. But they were very educated, but the fact is, they got jobs and they successfully made it on their own. And so when we talk about the current immigration status, I always look to my family. They got here legally. They waited in line. They did what they were supposed to do. They found jobs, and they became very successful in the fields. And I think we, as American citizens, should really look up to people like my family, like my mother, like my cousins, like my uncles, and really promote. If you're going to come to America, work for the American dream and really do the right thing. So that's pretty much my story as it relates to my family.
Okay, give me a second, Edward. So once in a while, I'm going to be jumping in. There's a lot of folks.
Awesome.
I'm trying to read. We're not going to be able to answer questions, guys, that are people that are out there. For now, let's see how we work it. But there's a couple of people here that are, everybody's special. But we have some folks out there. We have Marcos Gutierrez, who is the director, president of Latinos for Trump. He says hello. Bobby Lawrence, who's running for U.S.
Marco,
Senate.
how are you?
Yep, Bobby Lawrence running for U.S. Senate out in Pennsylvania. He is just checked in. He said he's here. Hello to him. Thank you for joining.
Good luck to you, Bobby. We're really rooting for you in California. Make us proud.
Exactly. So there's a lot of folks out there. You got Laura. You got Jesus. You got Juan Diego. You have Josie. I could go on and on. Juan, Marcela, and
welcome everybody.
Carla. Kevin. I want to say hi to everybody because I feel bad. Anne, Marty, Marlene, I could go on. Luis, thank you for joining. There's so many people that are joining. I can't name everybody, but thank you everybody for joining today. We have a very special guest, Henry Cajon Live here, your host, and we have Edwin Duterte. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. You
Duterte.
can correct me. Duterte.
Duterte.
You remind me. Just remind me. Don't worry about it. Duterte. And he is here. He's running on the 43rd Congressional District out in California. And yes, I have to remind a lot of folks. Yes, we know Omar Navarro is running in the ticket on the GOP, but we have somebody else who threw his hat in the ring right now. So please don't be surprised. This is the democratic process of everybody looking at who the candidates are. And we have our good friend here, Edwin, tonight. Tell me, Edwin, your job title.
Thank you.
You're a commercial real estate professional, community leader. Go ahead. Tell us about your
I wear a whole bunch of hats. My primary business is I'm a commercial real estate professional. I have been doing commercial real estate for many years. In fact, I started off in 1989 working in 88, 89 working with my father in his real estate company. I started off doing residential. Then in 91, I did many residential real estate transactions under doing mortgage brokering. In 91, I helped out my father start a mortgage banking department in our company. So from that, I understood that training and honing in your skills is really powerful, and that's the only way we're going to grow our company. So what I did in 1990 and 91. I trained our 40 agents, and back then deals aren't like how they were now. Back then, a big deal in 1991 was a $100,000 loan. Now that's a small shack in San Jose and in Los Angeles. But we did $40 million of deals in 1 year. And right after college, I talked to my father and I said, the only way we can learn is to build the skills of our agents. So what we concentrate on is we had training meetings 2-3 times a week, and we told them, practice, understand the business, understand the market, and you'll make more money. The next year, 91 and 92, we went from $40 million to $81 million. So we doubled the production of our agents. We more than doubled the fees generated from that. So I do have success in building companies. And then in 97, I moved to Southern California because we had a mini crisis, a mini recession in the mid 90s. So I thought that would be a great opportunity to move down to Southern California. And I had this one thought: I'm gonna work at a bank, because if I work at a bank and the economy goes down, we're still protected. And if banks ever failed, then we'd be in trouble. So I moved up the ranks. I started as a closer in the commercial real estate in the divisions at places like Cal Fed Bank. Worked my way up to underwriter. Then found a job at Freddie Mac. I became an associate investment analyst where I just looked at apartment deals. And I looked at apartment deals from $1 million all the way to $107 million credit facilities. Then I moved on to other local banks, all under the underwriting and loan origination side. And then in 2007, 2008, something really interesting happened. We had a big downturn. And I remember going back in 1999 or 2000, I can't really remember, but I remember talking in the break room at Freddie Mac, and I used to talk to the single family guys, and I asked them, why did they change their loan programs to allow for higher risk deals? And at that time, we called those deals B paper or A minus paper, and they just said that that's just how the market is, and that's where everything's going. I remember saying, what happens when things reset? When the economy hits a downturn, when rates reset, we're gonna have some big problems. I didn't realize in 2007 we would realize that problem. So I saw it coming. I saw how the big banks, we're doing things, and it was very alarming. That stuff like that was happening.
We're freezing up a little bit. Edwin, do you hear me?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Someone tried calling in, so
Oh, okay, okay,
you
okay.
know,
It
so
happens, yeah.
uh, okay, so basically, I saw a recession come in, in the early 2000s, and when it hit in 2008, I got laid off, and when I got laid off, I knew it was going to be bad, especially all the things that you're hearing in the newspaper, on the TV, how bad this crisis was. So a few months after I got laid off, I started something called Pink Slip Mixers, and the whole idea with Pink Slip Mixers was to find mid to upper level professionals and connect with them, and let's do our best to find jobs for one another. And I went around the country using my own money. I had several hundred thousands of dollars in my bank that included not only the cash positions I had, the stock positions I had, but also the my life savings that I was going to use for retirement. I spent all that because I saw the need to go around the country and help motivate people to find jobs. I couldn't hire these people myself, but I could find companies to put in front of large groups of mid to upper level professionals. So when people ask, what have I been doing, since the recession, since my banking career, I tell people, that I help people find jobs, find opportunities. In fact, back in 2010, 2011, I went to Nancy Pelosi's office. I went to talk to Feinstein's office. I talked to everybody who would open the door and talk to me. And unfortunately, I never got past the gatekeepers because they used to always say, "Who do you represent?" And I told these elected officials, I represent the unemployed. I represent the middle class, and we're hurting. You guys are giving priorities to the big banks. You're not looking towards us for jobs, and you're not helping us. So I did events 2, 3, 4 times a week. In the mornings, in the afternoons. I talked to hiring managers. I talked to the high tech industry. I live in an area that that has many high tech jobs, Google, Facebook, and I talk to everybody to help people find jobs. I found recruiters. So that's one of my platforms is we need to do something to increase jobs. We need to do something to increase wages, and we need to do something to find skills that the normal worker can appreciate. I know there are a lot of people that are looking towards lower jobs, and I can really appreciate that. But when we concentrate on minimum jobs, on minimum wages, we're going to get minimum standards, and that's just not acceptable. We need to find a way to improve our situation. We need to find a way to improve our economy, and that will help out our country, and that'll hopefully stop all the fighting. Because if you think about it, most divorces and most relationships, they fight because of money. I know a whole bunch of of my friends. I know a lot of them that their marriages don't survive because they fight about money, and I see that with the country too. If our country could stop fighting about money, if we could do what's right, then some of these social justice issues that we're facing, might not be as hurtful to the country as we think.
I know. Let me ask you. It's great, and there's another point that I noticed here that Career Day. Tell me about the NAP show. 5,000 attendees for Career Day. Many people don't know. There's a lot of things they're going to learn about you, but you did have this broadcasting bug in you. We got to talk about that. You did great. I saw some of your videos, but tell us about the NAP show, the 5,000 attendees, and how great that was. I think it was in Vegas. I think it was. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the National Association of Broadcasters, they're based out in Washington D.C. They host the second largest trade show in the Las Vegas area, and that's second only to CES. In 2010, they saw all the activity that I was doing to help people find jobs, and at their career day, they didn't have that many companies to hire. So what they did is they asked me to, do my Pink Sip Mixer style of events and mix that into a career day. So we asked some of the local, broadcasting companies like PBS, NBC, ABC in Las Vegas, CBS, especially in Las Vegas with Dave Courvoisier. We had their companies host booths in the career day. We had about 5,000 people, but we knew that broadcasting and journalism was changing at that point because of technology, because of social media. A lot of the hiring companies in the broadcast were changing. Now they call some of these journalists MMJs, with multimedia journalists. Back then, back in 2010, they didn't have a word for those type of journalists. They were just, online reporters, basically. What our intent was, because we knew a lot of the people coming to our events were talent and journalists, we had the idea of, let's give them a platform and let's utilize, back then we were using live stream, we were just recording and taping that into YouTube and uploading their content onto YouTube. But we saw about 5,000 people, through our doors. We each career day, every year that we did it, we probably interviewed maybe 200 to 300 people, and it's all on Pink Sip Mixers on our YouTube site, on the Viral Publicity YouTube site, and that opened up a lot of doors. So when you talk to different journalists around the country, and you ask them if they've been to the NAB Career Day, they could probably remember, if not my name, they'll remember my face, because I had our little microphone and our little webcam, and I put it in front of everybody's face. So it was a unique time, and a lot of people not only found jobs, but more importantly, they kept motivated to keep looking for better jobs.
Excellent. Let me ask you, organizations that you have been a part of, I'm very impressed. It's like looking at your resume, and everybody's getting to know you today, right? So you were president of the South Bay Republican Assembly and member of the Action Republicans. Yes. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was funny. A few years ago, I was working on Dr. Annette Tijero. She was running for Congress in CD1 in Nevada. And she really inspired me in 2014 to keep looking and getting involved into politics. I became her campaign manager in 2016 for her congressional run in CD3 in Nevada. And after she lost the primary, I went back to LA, and for some reason I was going to stay out of politics and just live my life and work on my commercial real estate career. But something I got the bug. I found the Torrance Lomita Republican Assembly. I became their membership secretary in December, or actually in November of last year. In January of this year, the South Bay Republican Assembly was on the verge of losing their charter, unless they had a president to step up. So I stepped up. At that time we had only 7 members. My goal was to grow the group to 100 members per city, even though we only had 7 members and we represented 4 cities, El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, and Hermosa Beach. I thought that if we just had 100 members per city, we could make a big difference and change the way voters work in Southern California. We're kind of on our way. However, I did step into the role of candidate, but I am still growing the South Bay Republican Assembly. I do believe that we could find 100 people per city that we represent, and come 2018 and 2020, you'll see a big difference with how the South Bay is represented. Not only will we be represented by some of the great activists locally, but we'll also have the brain power from the South Bay Republican Assembly. Because not only do you need bites, but you also need smarts, and you need people to advocate. By knocking on doors, by talking to the local elected officials, and that's my primary goal as president of the South Bay Republican Assembly. As well as
Excellent.
I am a member of several different groups, like the Action Republicans. Aurelio Matucci, who's running for city council in Torrance, he's a great man, and I really believe that he's taken his Action Republicans to the next level. I work closely with the South Los Angeles Inglewood Republican Assembly, and what's nice about the SLRA, South Los Angeles Inglewood Republican Assembly, about 80 to 90% of the members are minorities, and primarily African American. So there are African American Republicans who are very knowledgeable on the issues, who are very articulate, and we need to expose people, like the Johnny Morgans, like the Keith McGowans and Ayanna McGowans, because there are minorities who are Republican and very, very conservative.
Let me ask you, when it comes to Torrance, it just came to my mind. I know the mayor and I think a couple of the city councils are not too friendly because they're Democrats, but they're pretty liberal. And a lot of them, I think they are friends with Maxine Waters. What's your take on that? I mean, do you see them a little bit hostile? Or do you think they're kind of neutral when it comes to a GOP candidate who's running for the 43rd congressional district?
They're very hostile. The current leadership in the Torrance area and for the most part of Southern California, and if you look at all the beach city communities, there is a left-leaning wave, and we intend to stop that left-leaning wave. But people like Pat Fleury and others, they are left-leaning, and we just got to find a way to get the right people to stop that left wave. And like myself, like Ron Riggs, like Tom Brewer, Al Hernandez, we needed to get the right people in office, and we need to motivate the local voters. We need to find our friends, and we need to tell them really what's going on. We have to show them that conservatives aren't these evil people. We are caring. For instance, Johnny Morgan and his group with SLRA, South Los Angeles Inglewood Republican Assembly, they do great things in the community. Over the weekend, we honored two high visible and highly active people in the community. We gave them awards. We got certificates from the assemblymen from the different state senate, and through our various Congress members throughout the state. We presented these awards, and we recognize people. So we need to keep doing that. As we show to the community that that we are sensitive to the members of the community, the voters will understand that we are a positive people and we want to do the right things. And the way the media portrays us as these very mean people, that has to stop. We have to keep going into the community. We need to show, and we need to take the media with us to these events, because we do a lot of great events.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, they promote the events, the high profile events with Antifa. They look at the where gas cans are getting thrown, where M80s are thrown in bottles, lit and thrown at our people. The media loves that stuff, but we have to really go out there and promote a positive message that we are great people, that we want to better the community. We want what's best for the community. We want to maximize and optimize our workforce, because without a strong workforce, our country dies. And that's what I really want to promote. I really want to promote getting skills and looking at technology and really involving the community to look at higher job sets, and really look at STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, because by looking at those types of jobs, the whole community will change. Look at East Palo Alto. I don't know if you're familiar with Palo Alto and the economic divide that Palo Alto had with East Palo Alto. So back in the 80s, East Palo Alto was the highest murder capita of the country, even more so than DC.
Yeah, DC was pretty up there.
Yeah, but East Palo Alto was even worse. There's a lot of drug dealers. I grew up in that whole area. We didn't even want to drive in the daytime. But something happened in the 2000s, in the 1990s and 2000s, where Stanford and the business community and the venture capitalists on Page Mill Road, they all unified and they created incubator space, and they really promoted economic development, technology advancements, and that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we lost Edwin, unfortunately. Edwin, if you could get back on, I will bring you back up. And you just have to say hi again. I'll bring you back up. And it does happen. Let me see if I can bring you up again. Give me 1 second. And it's giving me trouble right now. We were having such a great conversation. Wow, Edwin is just full of just experience with the community. He has so many ideas right now. And unfortunately, we just lost him right now. And now it's telling me I cannot bring him up. But you know what? I always say the show must go on. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. Thank you, guys. Henry Gajon live here with Edwin Duterte. And he is running for the 43rd congressional seat out there in California against Maxine Waters, who's the current incumbent. Guys, listen to this. With so many years, 27 years she's been holding office. Talk about it's time for her to go. And let's see what happens. Let's see if I can bring him up. And just bear with me 1 second as I try to see if I can bring him up on the phone. And if I can do that, it'll be great. Just bear with me right now. All right, it's telling me I can't bring him up right now. And let's see, because I do want to finish. At least we got him on the beginning part. And this is what happens when you mess with Facebook and Zuckerberg. Many a times, a lot of conservatives get their videos. They bring them down. But thank you so much, Henry Gajon live here on this Wednesday night in New York City. And a cool night for the last few days. And give me 1 second. Let's see if I can bring him up. Okay, hello.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry for the technological glitch. I don't know what happened.
That's okay, but guess what? The show continues. Now we continue over the phone because we want everybody to hear you, and I couldn't leave you like that. So thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you for giving me this platform, and I really appreciate your time and understanding with all our glitches. Let's see. So. Where should we begin all over again?
Okay, no, it's not over again. Everybody heard what they heard. Let's just go right into it because I've been dying to get into it. The 43rd Congressional District. Me and you are stats guy. I noticed that you're like me. I love stats. There's a lot of folks that are registered. You got voters that are 222,000 people registered as Democrats, 52,000, almost 53 Republican, 103,000 independents. But this number is where everybody has to listen. Unregistered, 324,518. Edwin, tell us, what are we going to do to try to get these unregistered folks to register by next year? Give us your take.
Yeah.
43rd District is yours right now. Go ahead.
Well, my take is this. We have a very, very slim path to victory. Not only do we have to coalesce and unify the Republican Party, and I believe I believe I am the one that can unify our party. In addition to that, we have to get crossover votes. There's ways where we could get the crossover vote. We have a lot of Hispanics that are Democrats. We have a lot of Filipinos that are Democrats. We have a whole lot of Asians that are Democrats. However, there's a lot of things that we agree on, and we need to focus on what we could agree on because some of the social justice issues. We might not see eye to eye, but if they can believe that we will work with them, and we don't have to bend our values, for their votes. What we could do is we could say, what do you want? What can we agree on? And let's start with that. And then once we, work out what we agree on, then working on what we don't agree on will be much easier because now it's not adversarial. We gotta be deal makers. Donald Trump is a deal maker. He knows how to make deals. I know how to make deals. I've been doing deals all my life. So, so first I'm gonna find out what they want. I'm gonna find out what we want, and we'll start with that point. And then, then they need to trust me because they, even the Democrats in the 43rd district do not trust Maxine Waters. She has failed them for 27 years. So how can you keep going to the voters and say that they're for you when you and your family have been in the exact same, if not worse, economic position as you were back in 1990? There's no reason that somebody is making the same amount of money in 1990 as they are in 2017, 2018. So that's where we will unite the Democrats and say she is bad. She has not done anything to the community. Whereas, I see a path, to win this thing. I see a path to get everybody back on track, to make money, to have a prosperous life. And even though our home prices are expensive in California, there's ways where you can make more money and still afford the cost of living in California. There are ways, where she always says we need minimum $15 an hour wages. If you ask for $15 minimum wages, you're going to get $15 worth of minimal standards, and that's not cool. Companies will not survive off minimum standards. So so I think I can get the crossover. I could convince the Hispanics, the Asians, the Filipinos, the African Americans that we are the party for them. We are the right party, and we can help them find jobs. And that's where the path is. The path, again, is slim. For every Democrat, there's for every 3 Democrats, there's only one conservative. But it's going to be my job to convince the Democrats that if they go with the conservative party and they go with the vision and and they support the vision, their homes will be much better than how they are now, because their standards of 1990 living, it does not relate to the living standards of 2020. In fact, Maxine Waters was born in 1938. Do you understand and do you realize that in 1938 the biggest technological advance was the red half of the typewriter ribbon? So as well as and we mentioned this before, the number 2 pencil was not really invented when Maxine Waters was born. So think about that. How can she understand technology and improve technology as it relates to the household when the number 2 pencil wasn't even invented and prepared for computer life? So with that, when Maxine Waters says impeach 45, I say retire in 1938. So hashtag retire 1938.
Good one. I mean, she's been 27 years there, and I saw one of the people online saying, we want new blood. We want, and it doesn't have to be necessarily somebody young. It's just new blood, somebody who has a new vision. And Donald Trump brings something very interesting. Today I heard him in his speech that the GDP is at 3%, and he says, I expect it to go higher. That's the vision that he has. Also, Edwin, when he was campaigning and he said the inner city kids, and I'm an inner city, a product of the inner city, and I did well for myself and I stayed out of trouble. He said the economy, you get these folks jobs that are in the inner cities, Latinos, African Americans, the young people, if you get them an opportunity, what you were saying before, give them the opportunity so they can make a living, they can go to school and training. You want to piggyback off of that? What do you think?
Yeah, well, actually, so let's look at this. The inner city, in Inglewood, in Hawthorne, in this area, not only do we have SpaceX, but, just 2 or 3 miles down the street, west of our district, we have Silicon Beach. 2 or 3 miles north of our district, we have CBS, we have NBC, and a lot of the entertainment industries, they are tech-based. Look at all the advancements in digital space. So it's all coding. So when the inner city, when their passion is the arts, when their passion is music, guess where all that's going? All that's going is digital. So not only do we have to, teach them the art of music, the art of acting, but we also should inspire them and say, look, there's an art to coding. There's something beautiful when you code something and it performs even better than you thought. If we can inspire them to code and to be passionate about coding, just like music, those jobs are the jobs of the future. You can make a ton of money. You have that Filipino dude that started Snapchat. That guy's a billionaire.
Yeah.
So he found the love of coding because coding is an art. So why can't we teach the young people, and really promote STEM? Because STEM job is not just engineering. It's coding. It's a manufacturing. It's finding ways, to do things better. And, that's what we have to strive for. You can't tell me somebody, who was born in 1938, you can't tell me that person understands what a hackathon is.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen what a hackathon does. And for those of you who don't know what a hackathon is, let me describe one of the hackathons I've been to. The hackathon I went to was in PayPal a few years back in San Jose. They had a room, a large auditorium that fit maybe 600 to 800 kids. And they put paper all over the wall. And they said, they did a presentation, and they said, everybody sign a piece of paper on the wall. And, so then you signed your name on the paper, and that was your team. You started that Thursday night, and you developed a product, you developed the marketing, and you developed a whole business plan. And then on Sunday, you presented that to venture capitalists. And, if they liked your idea, you won, $50,000, $100,000. And that creates innovation. So if there's a way where we can partner up with the private sector, do something similar with hackathons, and go to the municipalities and go to the educational system like El Camino Junior College, and we inspire those companies to inspire the universities and create incubator space in the junior colleges, that will inspire the youth and young adults to create things that they're passionate, whether it's music, whether it's movies, whether it's doing podcasts, whether it's being a multimedia journalist like yourself. We need to create that environment to make things happen. And I don't see Maxine Waters articulate that. I don't think she understands how that works, and I don't think she understands how to maximize the United States. I just don't. And even further, I don't see any of my opponents, whether they're part of the conservative movement or whether they're part of the liberal movement. I don't see any of them understand technology and how that will grow the community and better our country.
I would love to see that, because I can tell you right now, we can actually name your opponents, which is Omar Navarro, who is running on the GOP side. I don't think he's been endorsed by the GOP. We won't get into that now, but he would be the person that you'll be going head-to-head with. And then one of you who are successful would actually go against Maxine Waters, which would be next year's election. All 435 House folks are up for elections. And let me ask you, we don't have enough time, and I would love to talk to you, so I'm going to get you again, you know that. Let me ask you, tax reform. I know you want to talk a little bit about that. Tell us how that would, the tax reform that, let's say now they're going to be challenged now into Congress, and how would you transform that into your district if you were to go and you're the congressperson and you're fighting for your district? But let's talk about tax reform. Tell me.
Yeah, so tax reform, not only does tax reform involve lowering our taxes, we have to find a way to, lower our taxes so we take home more money, because we shouldn't be, giving all of our money to the federal government where they could waste it and, not even care where the money goes and not be accountable. So number one is we need to find a way to lower our taxes. Number two, we need to find a way to make the regulations easy to understand. It's so hard, some people don't know what a Schedule A is. They don't know what a Schedule C is. They don't know what a K-1 is. So we need to find ways to simplify the process and the paperwork. We also need to find ways to make it better for investors. We need to make it better for real estate investors. We need to make it better for investors, whether they're high net worth accredited investors, or whether the lower investors who want to use crowdfunding and invest in those types of smaller projects. We need to find ways to lower the inheritance tax, because I don't think it's fair that people, all their life they save, they pay tax on everything they save, they pay taxes on everything they earn, they put it in the bank, and then they make great investments. They buy a home, and then when they pass away and leave those assets to their family, the family pays taxes again on assets that you paid taxes before when you're living. So we got to find a way to make it fair. And there's certain things that we need to do, and certain things that need to happen. And it's going to be impossible to talk about it in 30 to 60 second sound bites. That's why I need to go to Congress and I need to say this is what we need to do, and I will give them a perspective of not only how a regular person like myself, but also I will give them the perspective of a small business owner, an entrepreneur who struggles just to pay the $800 to file as a California corporation. That's a big burden, and they need someone like me to tell them that these guys are hurt. The small business community is hurt. The entrepreneurs, we need help and we need assistance, and we need to make the process a lot more simpler.
Let me ask you, I know we still got a long way to go for the midterm elections. Are you planning to do possibly a town hall type meeting, or a meeting that, because I know, what it is, I'm a fan of We the People, and I am involved with local candidates here in New York City, and I find it very hard how you have organizations that are already planned, and they do not allow the constituents to get involved to ask questions. What are your plans to go and get in touch with the folks of the 43rd District so they can hear who you are?
Not only do I have plans, I am already executing my plans to talk to the community. I've hosted 3 focus groups, on specific issues, and I'm going to keep doing that every week. I had, a few weeks ago, I started with a real estate group. I had, a dozen people in the room, and I said, what do we need to do to make your industry better? I had about, a dozen and a half Asian American professionals. I said, what do you need to make your community better? And a few days ago, I had a small business, issues focus group. In addition to that, I host one of the biggest networking events for conservatives. I hosted two networking events at the Trump Golf Course. The first one I did in May 10th. I had about 120 people. The second one I did last week, I had almost 300 people. And every time I do these events, I will get bigger and bigger. And if you want to see how a conservative red movement works, follow what I'm doing in the South Bay. I'm coalescing all the candidates together. I'm asking them what are their issues that their constituents want. I'm coalescing all the voters, and I'm getting them in rooms, whether that's in an office building, or whether that's at a bar, or if it's at a donut shop. I am already going to different communities, in the different neighborhoods, in the coffee shops. Follow me on Facebook. Duterte for Congress. On Facebook, you'll see all the activity there. You'll see the pictures that we've done at Trump. And in fact, at the Trump, what makes our events at Trump is, we say the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have, so picture 300 people doing the Pledge of Allegiance. And then after they do the Pledge of Allegiance, picture 300 people singing the national anthem. It's a beautiful thing, and more props to Matthew Woods, who saw that vision. And I said, if we could do it, let's see what happens. And he took control of that, and he led 300 people with the pledge and 300 people with the Star Spangled Banner, and it was a beautiful thing.
Let me ask you, now we are coming to an end, but this is so great. You see how it is, we're talking and time just flies. I'm going to have you on again, and especially I know a lot of folks, when they have more questions, we'll try to organize something. Again, I'm with the We the People, and the constituents are your bosses. They're the ones who should be able to ask questions, right? Let me ask you,
Yes.
Bobby Lawrence, who's running for U.S. Senate out there in Pennsylvania, is a part of an organization, America First. He had an America First rally this past weekend. It was very successful. He has quite a number of folks that are running. Unity is everything, right, Edwin?
Absolutely.
Are you open to speak?
We have to hold hands.
Good. Are you open to speak on your end? If you can't, I understand. Can you name, or are you a part of other folks that are running on the national level, which could be congressional, it could be Senate, out there in the West Coast that you can name, or you're not privy to say that right now?
Absolutely. You know, I work very closely with Dr. Netanyahu. Dr. Netanyahu, she took it on the chin and she ran for CD1 in Nevada, and with and her district is very similar to ours, where it was 21% Republican, almost 80% Democrat. She won 38% of the vote without the help of the GOP. And when and then in 2016 she ran for CD3 in Nevada, and I know I'm not supposed to say this, but she's also considering a run for Senate and primary out Dean Heller. So if we could rally around Dr. Netanyahu, to primary out Dean Heller, because we need a doctor in the House. We've lost a doctor because of Secretary Price went to HHS. We lost another doctor, Dr. Joe Heck, who ran in CD3 in Nevada and lost his battle to Senator Cortez Masto. So we lost a doctor. One of the reasons why our healthcare is all screwed up is because we don't have, I think, 14 or 15 doctors. You know how many lawyers we have in the House or in Congress in general?
We have enough lawyers, exactly. We got too many lawyers.
190 that have passed the bar. So what's that saying? When you only have 14 doctors and 190 lawyers, what that tells me is you're going to have more inserted people and processes that are between the patient and the doctor relationship.
Exactly.
So I would love to see Dr. Netanyahu run for Senate. I would also love to see Dr. Wright in California. Dr. Wright, Dr. Kenneth Wright, he's an eye surgeon. He's probably, I think he is the #1 eye care surgeon in the country. He's wrote many books. He's very famous on the physician side. He's running against Ted Lieu. Ted Lieu is just as nasty as Maxine Waters. I think they came from the same mud.
Okay.
So I would love to see Dr. Ken Wright. Two other people that I think are up and coming. They're not politicians, but I think they're very strong and they have great vision. Is Aja Smith? She's Congress in the Inland Empire in California, as well as Jeff Burham. He's I think he is Air Force, and he is a great person to talk to. He understands the Constitution. He served our country. He is a Desert Storm warrior. He currently is disabled because of the weapons of mass destruction that were in Iraq in the early 1990s. But we need strong leadership. We need people who can articulate what their community is facing, and we need the soldiers who could talk about the issues of the VA.
Yep.
We need doctors who could talk about and articulate and provide solutions for healthcare. So we need the right people in office. I love how some of my opponents, as well as some of other people around the country, they're very vocal and they're very upset. But we need to not only be upset, but we need to understand a vision, and we need to know how do we get to that vision to make things happen.
Exactly.
And I think the people that I just named are great people that I would love to work with, on the Hill.
Can I piggyback on the names? Dr. Kelly Ward, I believe that's her name, right? Our president already endorsed her against
Awesome.
Senator Flake. We have, I don't know if you're aware of her, out in the East with Bobby Lawrence. He spoke to me about Dr. Shiva, who's going against Elizabeth Warren. He was at the America First rally, and you should have, if you didn't see it, you got to check that out, the whole event. And he is actually Indian, and he said, you got a real Indian now really running, because the running joke with Elizabeth Warren, who thinks she's Indian. What is she? She said 5% Indian. So you have this gentleman who's a doctor. So you mentioned about doctors. Now we're getting a whole group of folks that are coming in who do love our country, who do want to support our president. And that's where we're at right now. Our time really has come almost to an end. I would love to continue talking to you, but we want to, when it comes to time-wise, and we kind of expected this, right, Edwin? We said there's so much to talk about.
We could talk for 4 or 5 hours without taking a break. So I really appreciate you taking the time to get to know me, and more power to your show. I wish your show luck and success. And if there's anything I can do, to maybe introduce you to some of the entertainment professionals I know, would love to make the connection, because I just love connecting people, and the more people you bring into success, the more that you rise as well. So a measurement of success are a measurement of your friends.
Yep, and I tell you something, Edwin, that I'm a small fish, you could tell. And the thing is, I'm a godly man, and I believe that God opens doors. And I have to tell you that I'm pretty awed, because I've interviewed, actually, and I thank God for this, and for my friends, my new friends. You're one of my new friends I just met. And I interviewed both people that are running for mayor here in New York City, which is a hot ticket right now. I've interviewed many city council here. And now God is opening doors to the national stage, because not only meeting you, speaking to, I've already spoken to a number of congressional folks who may be coming on my show. I'm blessed, really, and I'm blessed to be a part of this process here in this country, which I love so much, and I've given my whole heart to my country. I know you feel the same way for your country.
Dream. Yep, the American dream. You're living it, I'm living it, and and as we keep improving our country, everything gets better.
Exactly. So one last thing, and final thoughts, you can tell everybody where to find you exactly, your web pages, your Facebook pages. If you're still constructing, that's fine, but let everybody know how they can find you and they can donate to your campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, my name is Edwin Duterte. I'm running for U.S. Congress in the 43rd Congressional District. I will unseat Maxine Waters. You can find me at Facebook at Duterte for Congress. You can find me at my individual page, Edwin Duterte. That's spelled EDWINDUTERTE. I'm still constructing a website, but that will be initially at edwinduterte.com. EDWINDUTERTE. I will get my Twitter account up and running. You can also add me and connect me to your LinkedIn profile. It's linkedin.com/Edwin Duterte. I love making connections. If you have a business that you need, you need an introduction to any of the other influencers, I'm your man. I will help you find what you're looking for. And if I can't, I know somebody else will. And again, you could donate. I have a crowd pack. Look me up on crowd pack. Look my first and last name. We can find it. I definitely need all the support. $10, $20, $30. I think, I looked at my budget. I have a cash flow analysis, and I think I'm going to need about $1 million to $1.5 million to not only beat Maxine in the primary, but I think I could. I think I could get. In California, it's the top two that go. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, the top two in the primary go. I think I could hit that number one spot. With my cash flow analysis and with doing interviews with people like you. So not only will I be number one on the primary, I think I could be number one on the general. And if that means that I go against, whether it's Maxine, Frank, Candace, or Omar for the number two spot, more power to us, because if we could get more, if we could do the top two as Republicans in an 80% Democrat district, that would be wonderful. That would show to the country that there is a red wave. So, vote me in for the top one. Let's get another conservative in the top two, and let's make this happen. And the whole country will change if we take out the Maxine Waters head.
Excellent. God bless you. God bless the United States. God bless our President, Donald J. Trump, who needs all our support and prayers. And I will speak to you soon. I will have you in the future. I will connect you also with other folks, because we want to spread the word. We want everybody to have an equal chance. and to be, just to get a chance. So the constituents, I want everybody to know as much as possible of all the candidates so they can make a choice who they're going to be sending to Washington, because we know one of you guys are going to take out Maxine finally after 27 years, right?
How about two people take out Maxine? How's that? Why do we settle on one? Why don't we settle on two?
True. We look forward, and I tell you right now, I think Maxine has to be really shaking her boots, because she's like, you guys are bringing to the table so much. It's going to be a very interesting 43rd District congressional run. I wish you all the luck, and count on me for a lot of things. You can call me. You have a new friend also, and that's another thing, okay?
Amen. Thank you very much.
All right, brother. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon, and God bless, all right?
God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. I know it was a little bit lengthy, but we wanted to get to know this candidate. We're going to bring him back on in the future. He will be on other shows also. I will be in contact with other folks on other shows. But thank you, Edwin Duterte, and he's running on the 43rd congressional ticket, and he will be running most likely to take out Maxine Waters. But also the race has just gotten interesting because he's going to have another opponent, which is Omar Navarro. So thank you so much, and we look forward to speaking with him. We know all the constituents. Send me information. Edwin's going to be also sending me links to all his pages. But guys, if you have a question, I know it's kind of hard. We will try to do. I've been talking to a lot of candidates to try to do a forum or a type of Facebook town hall. Bobby Lawrence did that, and he took questions from the audience. Folks were writing stuff, they were calling in. We're going to try to see if we can work together with other candidates to do that, because right now, we the people are the ones that are who's going to be voting for folks, and the power's in our hands right now. And you will see how these folks who are down to earth, Edwin is down to earth, Bobby Lawrence, even Omar Navarro, who was last week on my show. We want to bring these folks to speak to the constituents, but the constituents, I know, I'll see what we can plan so people can ask questions and give them the hardball questions that they need to ask about their districts, So thank you so much. The song that's playing in the background is Madison Rising, and they're a conservative group. Please look them up. Tomorrow I will have Jeremy Herrera, the hip hop artist who I met a while back, and he's going to be on also. Also Lynette Mountain, who is the president for Bikers for Trump, Boots on the Ground. She will be with me on Friday. And also I'm going to have Therese Marie, who is a co-host for the Mad T show. I'm going to have her also. And it's going to be pretty good in the next few days. And then next week, we might have more congressional folks coming on. Thank you so much. God bless you guys for the support that you give me. You share this video. One last thing before I even forget, because I know all the technical problems I had. Our prayers go out to Texas. I have 3 good friends out there who have been struggling. One of them has been in a shelter. Her name is Maria de Jesus. I will be putting up her link also. She has a GoMe fund. Help out, because she's really using that GoMe fund for the folks that are in the shelter. She was also Bianca, who was out there. She shot a video today showing, lines and lines of folks in boats. Really hands on deck, all citizens. Our president was out there. He plans to go again. Guys, it's incredible. It's humbling to see how us Americans, God knows, they're suffering. There's so many people. I think the death toll is up to 25. There's thousands and thousands that are entering the shelter system, have lost their homes. Last night when I went to sleep, my prayers to God was, thank you, God, and we should all thank God. I took a shower today, a nice hot shower in my house. These folks are in churches, they're in stadium type of areas. They're suffering, guys. So if you can find it in your heart to donate to Maria de Jesus, also the Red Cross, for blood drives. You have, I saw a hip hop artist out there who was actually, helping to save folks. Also CNN, who I'm not a fan of, I even seen them rescuing folks. So our prayers go to Texas, and God be with them. And thank you so much, Henry Grijon Live. And thank you, Marco Gutierrez, a good friend of mine. He's the director for Latinos for Trump. Thank you so much for being a good friend. Marciela, Carlos, thank you so much. I'm just getting the messages now. I'm seeing a few people now. But I know it's been lengthy for you guys that have been waiting, or people, I understand. Thank you so much. God bless you. Edwin Duterte, who's running on the 43rd Congressional District, was with me tonight. And we look forward. It's going to be a very interesting 43rd Congressional District race. So thank you so much. God bless you. And till the next time. So tomorrow, I have Jeremy Herrera, and he's going to be on, and we're going to be speaking about Infinity, the new social media that they have to give competition to Facebook. Thank you. God bless you. And till the next time. Thank you. Till the next time. God bless.